At the beginning of the story, we see a girl lying on the ground. Captain Stefan Brand wakes up in a cold sweat and looks at the packer. When Stefan asks if they should meet again, she rejects him. A moment later, the phone rang. A voice asks Stefan to come out. Captain Brand is informed that he is heading to the Netherlands, where he fled 20 years ago due to the defeat in the First World War by King George II. He heads the personal guard of the German Emperor Wilhelm II. German troops entered the Netherlands just this morning, which allowed the captain to reach the outskirts of Dorm, the castle of the former German emperor, unhindered. When Brand enters the castle, he orders the emperor's aide-de-camp to appoint him head of William's personal guard, and the aide-de-camp warns him not to disturb the servants at the manor. William's wife asks the emperor to invite Captain Brand to dinner to make a good impression on her. Since soldiers were sent to protect her, this means that the emperor needs his country, and now every little thing is important. After meeting with Inspector Dietrich, Brand is told that his job is to record everything the emperor says, especially if William says something disrespectful to the empire. According to Dietrich, British intelligence also managed to introduce a spy into the emperor's entourage. A radio transmitter was found in a nearby village. It is possible that the emperor will either be kidnapped or killed, but Brandt considers this a stupid idea, because the emperor has been retired for more than 20 years. Meanwhile, in the suburbs, a maid enters the emperor's office. After asking a few questions, Wilhelm learns that Mika is new and came from the Netherlands, which is currently occupied by Nazi troops. When asked if the girl would have conquered the Netherlands if she had been the commander of the German army, the girl answers yes without hesitation, because Holland is so beautiful. Kaiser laughs and invites her to the next meeting. In the evening, Mika knocks on Captain Brandt's door. The girl transmits Kaiser's words about the invitation to dinner the next day. Brand looks at Mika and orders her to undress. The captain approaches the girl and wants to take possession of the Mecca, but he takes her by the stomach and says that he will accept the Kaiser's invitation to dinner. When Brand enters Wilhelm's mansion, he meets an aide-de-camp, who briefly explains to the captain how to behave in the company of the former emperor and his wife. When Brand returns to his room after dinner, he finds Mika there. The girl asks the captain to undress. Then he discovers a large scar on his body and pushes him onto the bed. In the morning, Adjutant William informs Brandt that the emperor is accompanied by a British spy, so the captain asks permission to move into the castle. While throwing bread to the ducks on the lake, Wilhelm notices Brandt. The emperor invites Stefan to dinner again. After that, he asks Mika to escort the captain to his new room in the castle. After giving her name, Mika asks not to call her that, because she could lose her job if it turns out that the maid is sleeping with a Wehrmacht officer. And Stefan himself could get into trouble. In the morning, the captain meets Inspector Dietrich, who informs him that another spy facility has been discovered. There is only one locator, but if two are received, they will be able to locate the source of the signals. The inspector looks at Mika in surprise and says that he would like to interrogate her. Stefan suggests not running after the maids, but finding another car with a beacon. Mika meets a man, from a conversation with whom it turns out that the girl is a British spy who gives out information about her relationship. The priest calms Mika down and explains that if there were any suspicions about her, she would have been arrested long ago. However, he asks the girl to be careful. Mika returns to the mansion and hears the maid ringing. He hides the gun and leaves the room to meet Stefan. Brand tells him that if the inspector bothers him, he will deal with the Gestapo officer himself. In the emperor's office, Wilhelm tells him that he did not want to start a war in which he had already been defeated. According to him, he sent a telegram that was intercepted by people from his circle of friends who were interested in the war. After the guests leave, Wilhelm asks Mika about his family. The emperor promises to help if the girl or her family needs anything. Mika wants to say something, but Princess Hermine enters the office, and Mika immediately leaves. Returning to her room, she finds Stefan in bed. The captain apologizes for their first meeting. However, Mika admits that at that moment she wanted him. In the morning after the girl left, Stefan took out a pack of cigarettes taken from Mika's closet. The package shows traces of gun oil. Meet the inspector at the pond. They know about Himmler's arrival tomorrow. Stefan's task is to take Himmler to a safe house after dinner with the Kaiser and present a list of all the servants in the house. The search will begin in an hour. After meeting Wilhelm, Stefan did not even have time to say that this was confidential information when Kaiser's wife entered the office with the same message. Stefan leaves the office, meets with his assistant, and asks him to give it to Wilhelm so he doesn't joke with the Reich in front of Himmler and Inspector Dietrich. Asked if there were guns in the house and who cleaned them, Stephen knew that the maids did not have access to the gun. The captain informed the inspector that the whole family was aware of Himmler's arrival, because someone sent a telegram to Kaiser's wife. After searching the house and finding nothing, the inspector leaves it along with the soldiers. Stefan notices Mika running towards the village. Mika meets with the showrunners and tells them that Himmler will arrive tomorrow, whom he can kill. She wants to avenge the deaths of her father and husband. However, the one who is responsible for it, since in this case Mika's main project will be unsuccessful. Their meeting is seen through the window by Stefan, who follows the girl. Thanks to the Monday machine, the inspector manages to retrieve a radio signal from the showman, Mickey, whom the soldiers arrest. In the morning, Stefan wakes up again from the nightmare he always dreamed about the captain. When Mickey asked him about what this dream was, Stefan tells of a village in Poland where the SS shoots all women and children. One of the girls was still alive when Brand wanted to help her, but she died in his arms. For this, Stefan beat the boss who gave this monstrous order. According to the girl, most of the SS officers were real monsters, but Stefan did not want to believe it. On leaving, Mika receives an offer of hands and hearts from Stefan. Due to quarrels, the couple discovered the only maid. She asks the Emperor to return home. There, William's wife informs him of the relationship between Captain Brandt and his maid, which is forbidden. Hermine fires Mick, but Kaiser asks permission to speak privately with them, and Wilhelm confesses that he committed a crime with the illegitimate children. Therefore, he let Mickey continue to work, but warned him to be careful from now on. Stefan leaves Kaiser's office and receives a message from the sheriff. When the Brand arrives, they find that the inspector has reached a radio signal transmitter where Stefan realizes the man Mickey met yesterday. Stefan immediately realized everything and went to the outskirts of Kaiser. He said nothing to Mike. After meeting Himmler, Stefan takes the girl to the back room. There he informs her that the priest, her curator, was arrested yesterday and is being interrogated as sooner or later he will reveal everything. Stefan promises to keep everything a secret if the girl immediately leaves the Kaiser's mansion. But Mika resists this, because she wants to fulfill her duties. Back in his room, Stefan finds an inspector who informs him that the castle is about to crumble. Only the captain overturned Haug when Himmler appeared in the room. SS Chief Blockrer informed him that Hitler forgave the Kaiser and allowed him to return to Germany after 20 years of exile. However, this is just a trick to identify royalty and their accomplices. Stefan and the inspector must cut off all correspondence and personally inform Himmler of the delivery address or delivery. At dinner, Himmler said that in all the captured areas they would get rid of unnecessary people, such as the elderly, the disabled, and children. When they conducted an experiment, they injected 10 children and killed them while they were asleep. According to Himmler, 10 people for 1 minute is very ineffective. Stefan, recognizing his assistant's loyalty, asks him after dinner to tell the Kaiser about the trap Himmler had set. After going to Mika's room, Brand could not find the girl. Mika, at this time, meets Kaiser, who after dinner comes to the forest to chop firewood. According to the girl, she was supposed to leave, but she was carrying a message from Winston Church. When William realizes that the girl is a spy, he has a heart attack. The girl calls for help and arrives at the mansion where Stefan wonders if Kaiser has died. At that moment, a call rings announcing that the priest has stopped and told him everything about Mickey. Stefan asks her to confide in him, as the girl will not have time to escape. Call security. The Brand ordered to block all entry and exit routes. Meanwhile, Princess Hermine finds Kaiser, with whom she feels comfortable. William informed his wife that he had received an invitation to hide in England and then become Emperor of Germany again, defeated in the war. However, the Kaiser rejected the offer, as well as Hitler's proposal to return to Berlin. After Himmler's speech, a minibus arrives in which Stefan and his assistant drop the Kaiser off on the grounds that Wilhelm needs to go to the hospital. Stephen abandons Princess Hermine and the assistant and leaves, picking up Mickey along the way. At the gate where Pasteur was exchanged, Gestapo cars checked. Stefan announces that there is an emperor on the bus who is urgently needed in the hospital for a heart attack, but Dietrich decides to check the bus. One of the Gestapo officers opens the back door and Stefan shoots him, then kills the inspector. Mika leaves the mansion's base and thanks Kaiser for saving her life. Guillermo was glad they were able to say goodbye. Then the old man lost consciousness. After stopping the bus and throwing a gun away, Stefan asks if the girl has a hiding place. Mika summons him, but Brand decides to stay. He was not threatened because he took Kaiser to the hospital, and a spy shot the police in the door. Therefore, he must cross suspicion. Stefan screams on the run into the forest with the girl. Will she marry him? Mickey begs him to find himself after the war. Stefan boards the bus and takes Kaiser to the hospital. Sometime later, Stefan received a package. When he printed it, Brand saw a book that Mickey was reading. On the cover, there are messages with the address where the girl will be waiting for you. Meanwhile, in London, Mickey was sitting on the beach in the water. They told her that the Prime Minister was ready to meet her. When the girl got up, it turned out that she was pregnant. At the same time, an air raid alarm was heard in Berlin and the roar of the aircraft engine was heard.